Hello again. This film's about how to understand those research papers that you've spent a lot of time hunting online for. You've found them and you've downloaded them, and now you've got to read them and to try and understand what they're all about. So, here's some tips to help you do that. So, firstly, why should we read these research articles in the first place? Well, they're important because they help us learn new things. They help us also check if information that we've read or heard about elsewhere is actually true. And it helps us understand how the authors, such as scientists, if you're studying a science subject and you're reading about that, how those authors work, how other people work. So, what is a research article? Well, it's really a special kind of report or article, as we call it, written by experts in that subject area. So, the first thing you'll come across is an abstract in a research article. And this tells you what the main idea of this article is all about. It tells you briefly what did the scientists or the authors of the paper find out by doing this work, and it helps you understand very, very quickly, is this article interesting and useful for your work? So don't read the whole paper to start with, just concentrate on the abstract and you'll save yourself a lot of time. Then, after the abstract, is usually the introduction, and this is containing things that perhaps other people have said about this subject before. So, what did other authors say before on this topic? What is the problem or the question that the scientists or the authors of this paper setting out to solve or to achieve? What is it they're trying to do? And what do the scientists, the authors of the paper, want to find out specifically? Then, after the introduction, comes the method. So, these are the ways, the methods that the authors, the scientists that have written about this research have followed in order to do their research. So, how did these scientists do their research? That's what the method section will be telling you. And it'll also be telling you what did they use to collect the information that they're going to write about later. And once they got that information, how did they analyze it? Then, after they've analyzed that information, they're going to discuss the results. So, what did the authors find? Are the results clear? Hopefully, they're clear and written in a very clear and succinct way. But quite often, especially in the more scientific and engineering journal articles, this can be a little bit complicated. So get ready for that. And basically, in the results, the authors are trying to answer the question, do the results answer the research question, meet our aims and objectives of this study? After that, there's some sort of discussion whereby the authors might start discussing what the results mean. And are those results really important or perhaps not? And then what should people do next? Based on the findings of this paper, usually journal article authors will suggest things that should be done in the future to help solve further problems that they've discovered. So, this might be a really good place for you to have some ideas about perhaps what your research topic could be, because you could say, oh, the authors of this paper have done this, and they found and recommend that further work is needed. Well, for my research, I'm going to do some of that further work. So, you have to think, is it a good article? So, how do you go about doing that? Well, firstly, do you understand the article? Is it easy to understand, or is it in sort of gibberish and very difficult, complex language? After you've read a few articles, you'll see the ones that are very clear and easy to understand and some that really aren't. Is the article new and interesting? You want to be reading about the most current, up to date stuff that is written about your research area and stuff that you find is interesting after all. Don't read stuff that isn't useful to you. What a waste of time that would be. And is the article based on real facts, or have the authors kind of made it up? So you can consider that when you're choosing which journals to choose to read the articles from. Are they good quality journals? Are they high impact factor, for example, journal articles that are peer reviewed? I've got other films about this to help you choose good quality research and how to do literature reviews and all that sort of thing in other movies on this channel. Is the article fair? It shouldn't be biased. It should remain unbiased. So it should keep a fair and unbiased viewpoint, presenting the facts based on the evidence and the data that the authors have collected. So I mentioned impact factor. What is that? Well, if you've never come across that, it's actually a number that shows how important a journal is. And the higher the number, the better the journal, the more important it is. And why is a journal important or not? Well, it helps us know if the article is reliable, because if that journal is really important and a lot of people are reading the articles in that journal and it's peer reviewed and it's of good quality, then you can rely on it for helping you provide a really good foundation for your work. So, in summary, we read the abstract to get the main idea of the article. By just reading the abstract first, you'll save yourself a lot of time to understand if the article is interesting to you or not. If it is, then go and read the introduction next, because the introduction can help us understand what the paper is all about and understand the problem that it's trying to solve. The method then tells us about how the research was done, and the results come afterwards to see what was found out. And following that, there'll be some sort of discussion, perhaps conclusions and recommendations to understand the meaning of all the results that have been collected. Hopefully that helps you. Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel and like this movie if you found it useful. Thanks very much. Bye now.